Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Time is running out to see Matrilineal Memory by Hopi artist Michaela Schaefer at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This moving exhibition of painting, poetry, and installation art explores memory's fragility and strength, honoring stories passed through generations. The show closes December 13th, so don't miss your chance to experience this transformative work. Visit All My Relations Arts before it's gone. Learn more about exhibition hours and events at allmyrelationsarts.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 5 above. Then Thursday, another chance of snow with a high of 18. Chef Carrie's always got something new and exciting cooking over at Nightingale in South Minneapolis on the corner of 26th and Lyndale. Don't miss fabulous options like the Nightingale burger and fries or the ginger tamari chicken wings. Check them out or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, any cut again.
Because all the hippies are trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive. Because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, this episode is presented in partnership with the City of Minneapolis for Minneapolis Air, American Indian Relations, who hosts a monthly conversation on the second Wednesday of the month regarding happenings that impact our Native communities in Minneapolis. We're grateful for this partnership to keep up to date on topics that can better support our largest urban Indian population in the country. I'll pass things along to Minneapolis American Indian Community Specialist and guest host Christine McDonald. Good to see you again, Christine, and welcome as always. Hoa.
Oh, my gwitch, Robert. Bonjour, Ogadaki, Gabuik, Nandishnika, Zajijak, Nandundam. I'm Christine McDonald. I'm the American Indian Community Specialist with the City of Minneapolis, and I am your guest host today. And today we're going to begin with a conversation around renters' rights during this winter time. And our guest is Carmen Black, who is a housing liaison with the City of Minneapolis Regulatory Services Department. Welcome, Carmen.
Hi, welcome. Thanks so much for having me, Christine.
I'm so happy to have you here this evening. Let's jump right into it. Can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and then what you do at the City of Minneapolis?
Absolutely. I've been with the city for about 5 years. I'm a housing liaison. In this position, I work with residents of the City of Minneapolis, renters and owners, but much more renters and their rights when having to deal with property management, owner of wherever they currently reside.
Thank you. What should people know about dealing with maintenance issues in their homes?
The number one thing I love to tell people, so I've been a renter too for 27 years now in the City of Minneapolis. And I tell people to document everything, all communication with whether they're landlord, property manager, owner. It's good to have that communication, whether it's over the phone, but when you start dealing with things that need to be done in your home, things that are of importance that need to be done by a certain time, whether it's an email or text is better than nothing, but email is best. But just documentation. And even, I always say too, even if you've had a conversation with the property manager and you want to follow up with a email or a text, you can even say something as simple as, this is referencing the phone conversation we had on such date regarding this. When is it going to be fixed? Or I'm still awaiting a response. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, just because you're in a legal binding contract. I think that's what a lot of people need to remember when you're going into a contract. That's what a lease is. It's a contract. And just because you're renting does not put you like lower and does not make the property manager, the owner, like an authoritarian to you. That's not the relationship. This is a relationship like this. It's a contract. You both have things that you both need to abide by. You have to pay your bills, and they have to do what's held to them in the lease. So,
Yep, it can be pretty intimidating entering into a contract with somebody who has like control over where you live.
yes.
So I think even when I was younger, living in an apartment, it really was intimidating dealing with a landlord. And I'm glad that we have these resources. We have radio, we have positions like yours who can teach people what their renters' rights are and what it means to be able to live in a safe and comfortable home.
Absolutely. Can I add to that? It helps when even if you don't know all your rights, if you just know one or two, if you let's say you're entering that contract with the new landlord, when you let them know that even if it's just a little bit, like a security deposit, for instance, you give your $1,500 security deposit, and you can just throw in there that that $1,500 should be accruing a certain percentage annually while it's in their possession. Just stating things like that, or asking questions and confirming who's responsible for what. If you didn't see it outlined in the lease, letting them know that you need that addendum to the lease. Just when you say certain things, it kind of lets them know, okay, I'm dealing with someone who knows that they have rights and that I can't get over on them.
So if we would be talking to somebody who's like a new renter, what would be some violations that they should be looking out for?
The big thing is knowing who's responsible for what. Who's responsible for the common areas to keep them clean? Who's responsible for, like, do you call your landlord when you need your lights changed? Do you do that yourself? What are some fees that can be accrued, and why, and what are the dates? So like if there's some things aren't clear, some people you start accruing a late fee like after the first. Some people you don't accrue, some places you don't accrue a late fee until after the 5th of the month. And then what is that fee? That needs to be outlined in the lease. You can't just make up, property managers cannot just make up a dollar amount along the way. You need to know what is the fee if you're late.
Is there like a maximum that they can charge for late fees, or are there laws around that?
There is a maximum. It's a percentage. I should have looked at that. I don't have it off the top of my head, but yes, there is.
But it's a start to know that there is a maximum. They can't just keep accruing more and more fees on top of fees. Okay.
Correct. Absolutely. And
so now that it's winter or cold weather, when do they have to turn the heat on? Who takes care of the heat?
October 1 is when the cold weather rule comes into play. And it's 68 degrees. Your place has to register at 68 degrees. And so we get a lot of calls this time of year, low heat, no heat. And that is something in which inspectors respond to immediately. So your place, the air in your place must register at 68. Otherwise,
so what exactly is the cold weather rule?
So it basically states that they have to. So the cold weather rule states that the temperature has to be, well, I guess when you're referring to like center point, that they cannot turn off your heat for non-payment based from between October 1 and I want to say March 1. Don't quote me.
Somewhere in the spring though, when it's supposed to be warmer.
Right. So they can't turn it off for non-payment as long as you're like communicating with them and having conversation about what's going on with your finances and basically communicate with your your utilities people and let them know what's going on. I know a lot of people they'll get a bill in the mail and they can't pay it. They're intimidated by it. And so they just maybe throw it away or they don't address it. I always tell people, pick up your phone and call. People at Centerpoint and Excel, they do not want to turn off your utilities. But they, if time and time and time has gone by and it's adding up and they have no choice because you haven't communicated with them, at the end of the cold weather rule, I want to say it's April. I don't know. I might be getting it confused with taxes. I'm sorry.
But so they're related, but they're not the same thing, is what you're saying? Like the cold weather rule is specific to like your utilities, and then the landlords have to maintain the temperature in your space at 68.
So like if the temperature drops, let's say it's September 1st and the temperature has just dropped and it's 65 degrees, they don't have to respond immediately as if they would if it was after October 1, because it's probably going to go back up.
All right, thank you.
Hey, you know what? We'll be right back. You're listening to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio. Ho-wah.
If you're in need of food resources, Hennepin County is here to help. Food shelves near you are ready with fresh, nutritious food. SNAP remains open. You can continue applying for benefits. If you are expecting or have children ages 0 to 5, WIC can provide even more support. Get connected to free or low-cost food resources near you at hennepin.us/food-help. Again, that address is hennepin.us/food-help.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Do you know that from birth to age 3, simple activities like talking, playing, reading, storytelling, and singing can boost your child's development? Little Moments Count provides parents and caregivers with the resources they need to make the most of your time together. Visit littlemomentscount.org for resources designed to support you in giving your child the best start in life. Again, please visit littlemomentscount.org.
MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans. Plus, get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, this episode is supported by the city of Minneapolis with Minneapolis Air, American Indian Relations. And here's our guest host, Christine McDonald.
Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Again, we are visiting with Carmen, who is with the city's Regulatory Services Department, and we're talking about winter rental rates. Welcome back, Carmen.
Thank
So
you.
a lot of renters hesitate to report issues in their homes because they're afraid that the property owner is going to retaliate against them. Are property owners or managers allowed to retaliate against renters?
Oh, Christine, absolutely not. They're not allowed to. But unfortunately, the truth is it happens more often than not. And it's really a sad situation. We regularly refer people over to the Civil Rights Department and to legal representation for situations like that. We also have another team within the city of Minneapolis that supports charging different cases in situations where they can prove it's retaliation.
Oh, wow. How do you prove that it's retaliation? Or does that team help you?
Well, things have to happen. So like, let's say, let me think of an example. If something has to be fixed, it's impacting their life as a renter in a negative way, and it's something they have to report. Well, now when a city inspector comes to the building, they almost can figure out who it is, because they know that I've been complaining. Let's say it's me. They know that I've been complaining for the last, and it's not getting fixed. So now when an inspector shows up, they can kind of deduce that it was, and then they'll attempt to make life hard for me, or threaten to evict me, or all of a sudden there's new charges on my portfolio, or now, and when I've been here for 10 years, now they don't want to renew my lease. And yes, it happens. It's quite often, unfortunately.
So that makes me think about the retaliation piece is when it comes to lease renewal. If they don't want to renew it, what about they increase the rent?
Right, that they will increase the rent. And, unfortunately now, with housing, you can increase rent. And I mean, you can't increase it like, let's say next month. You have to redo it at the lease renewal time, but they absolutely can go up to the highest amount. I wish I knew what the percentage was. I'm so sorry.
But there is regulations that try to prevent that from happening to people.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And we spoke earlier about maintenance. So if there's something and the low heat, no heat, 311 is the best option to call, because when you call 311 and get a customer service individual on the phone, they're listening to what you're saying, and they're listening for keywords, and they know to initiate an inspector to get in contact with you immediately, or to have an inspector come out immediately based on the context of the conversation. So 311 is your best bet. And depending on what you say, depends on how the phone call is triaged and how it's moved forward.
Are there other places that you can go to if you think your legal rights are being violated by your landlord or your property owner?
Civil rights is a great place to go. Again, the big thing is documenting everything. Document communication. Document, if you find an ad for a place that's stating it's this much, or stating they accept Section 8, stating they accept, someone with a minimal criminal background, screenshot those things, take pictures. And then if later they're telling you that they won't accept you now because of those things where they once stated they accepted you for, then you have those screenshots, you have those pictures. Everything is documentation and work.
Is there a difference if it's like a property management type situation, or if it's like the like one single property owner? You know what I mean? Like they don't have like tons of properties, but this is the one. They only have this one property, and that's what they're renting out.
I will say that often it's better to work directly with like the actual owner, just because there isn't that middleman, and they're easier to. I just feel like it's more of a concrete professional relationship, if that makes sense. You're right. So like you can wheel and deal a little more. Like if you know the owner, you can say, look, I'll take care of the snow outside, take $50 off of my rent per month. You're not going to be able to do something like that with a property management team, because the property management gets a percentage of everyone that pays their rent. They get a percentage of each rent paid. So it's more, money motivated for them. Whereas, so that's what being in housing now for well over 20 years. I often tell individuals who don't have the best background on paper, whether it's income, whether it's criminal, whether it's housing, I always tell them look for private owners because they're more willing to work with you and they're more human. You're actually speaking to a human being and not applying for a home online where nobody's seeing you, no one's hearing your story. And I also tell people too, if you have a background, if a case that went to court and you have a UD, or maybe you have something on your record for 10 years ago, I always tell people when you apply and put that application in, just have something printed up. You don't have to disclose everything that happened. Just summarize it and say, look, this is what happened. This is what it was. It's resolved now. It's, and just, and let them hear about it before they find out about it. To have that honest communication with them and let them know you changed and you don't do those things anymore.
I mean, sometimes it does feel like retaliation. I know someone who like they like did a switcheroo. Like she signed her lease and then they sent her an email and said, oh, that was the old form. We need you to sign it on this new updated form. And because she knew better, she looked it over and they had changed the amount of the rent. And then it went into this, I mean, she ended up working through Homeline and she had some great resources and she ended up going to court and getting it all resolved, but it really was very complicated and very intimidating. And then it did, like, I felt like it affected their ability to find a place right away.
Right.
So even though it got resolved, it still felt really bad for them.
Right.
Because then they tried to say that, well, if you're not going to sign the new lease, then you can't be here. We're going to evict you. And she's like, this isn't even the amount that we agreed to. It was just really, really complicated.
That's really
intimidating for them. Yeah. So in this tight rental market, one of the barriers is background screenings. Is there anything specific or special that people should know about when they're applying for an apartment or rental space?
Well, know that they can only request the full amount of rent for a security deposit. I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you're a renter or have people that but years ago, there was no cap on security deposits.
Yeah,
so
2-3 months rent. Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, you could pay a security deposit of like $5,000 and people don't know that that's supposed to be accruing interest, one, and two, you're supposed to get that back within 21 days of leaving. So a lot of people do not know these things. So it's unfortunate that so many people go into these agreements and don't know what they're going into. It is astounding to me the amount of people that have signed a lease and do not have a copy of the lease, whether it's digitally or in their hand in a file and back in their bedroom closet. So I would like to see a lot more renters 101 going on in the city, just to to help and support people. I would love to be at some rental signings with people and say, well, have you looked this over? Do you know what you're signing? That would be my hope for the city of Minneapolis, is we can do more hands-on training and just kind of walking through with individuals, because people you learn stuff as you go.
Right. Right. What rights do renters have if they are facing an eviction?
So there has been a lot of push in the city to support renters, just because they're finding out, over 50% of the residents in Minneapolis are renters. So they had to come up with something to support renters. The new thing that happened earlier this year is that if they're going to file an eviction against you, they have to let you know 30 days prior to filing the eviction. So let's say I haven't paid my rent on time. They have to give me a notice 30 days prior to actually filing the eviction against me. And then once the eviction is filed, that could take up to another 30 days. So it's really to support renters and for us to get our ducks in a row and be able to go to court and have a leg to stand on.
Wow, that 30 days is going to be is super helpful.
Yes, it is. It really truly is.
Thank
Guys.
you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I really appreciate you
Absolutely.
taking
Thanks
the
so
time
much
to
for
be on
having
with
me.
me.
Thank you. I
Right on.
appreciate
Hey, this is right on. Hey, we'll be right back, and you're listening to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio. Hoa.
If you're in need of food resources, Hennepin County is here to help. Food shelves near you are ready with fresh, nutritious food. SNAP remains open. You can continue applying for benefits. If you are expecting or have children ages 0 to 5, WIC can provide even more support. Get connected to free or low-cost food resources near you at hennepin.us/food-help. Again, that address is hennepin.us/food-help.
Time is running out to see Matrilineal Memory by hobby artist Michaela Schaefer at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This moving exhibition of painting, poetry, and installation art explores memory's fragility and strength, honoring stories passed through generations. The show closes December 13th, so don't miss your chance to experience this transformative work. Visit All My Relations Arts before it's gone. Learn more about exhibition hours and events at allmyrelationsarts.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950. MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans, plus get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
Do you know that from birth to age 3, simple activities like talking, playing, reading, storytelling, and singing can boost your child's development? Little Moments Count provides parents and caregivers with the resources they need to make the most of your time together. Visit littlemomentscount.org for resources designed to support you in giving your child the best start in life. Again, please visit littlemomentscount.org.
A reminder to anyone who rides Metro buses. That means the A, B, C, D, gold, orange, or red lines. Remember to pay your fare before you get on. Either buy a ticket at your station's ticket machine, tap your go-to card, or pass to the reader at the station, or activate a ticket on the Metro Transit app. Have your proof of payment ready to show to trip agents if asked, or risk getting a citation. Thanks for riding with Metro Transit. Again, that's Metro Transit.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 5 above. Then Thursday, another chance of snow with a high of 18. Chef Carrie's always got something new and exciting cooking over at Nightingale in South Minneapolis on the corner of 26th and Lyndale. Don't miss fabulous options like the Nightingale Burger and Fries or the Ginger Tamari Chicken Wings. Check them out or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, this episode is supported by the city of Minneapolis with Minneapolis Air, American Indian Relations. And here's our guest host, Christine McDonald. Oh,
Wow, thank you, Robert. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Christine McDonald, the American Indian Community Specialist with the City of Minneapolis, and your guest host tonight. Our next guest for our conversation is Vin Dion from Indigenous Protectors Movement in Many Shields. Hi, Vinny.
Bonjour. Thanks for having me tonight.
Glad you could be on with me. Can you tell us about yourself and what you do with Indigenous Protectors Movement? Maybe a little bit about how it got started.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little about myself. Community community guy here, born and raised at Little Earth. Lived here my whole life since '81. Grew up here. Um, Typical story, getting in trouble as a young man, finding myself in active addiction, incarceration, um, and finally got my life in order. Started like the need and the want to change my life around. Finally hit that point. I finally hit rock bottom where I was like, you know what, enough's enough, and I'm done going to jail. I want to be a better person. I want to be a better parent. So how do I do that?
Mhm.
And I started working on myself, really wanting to do better, taking classes. I went to treatment. And so from there, when I finally got released from prison, I was really had a really good healing mindset, and I developed a lot of discipline. So I got released 6.5 years ago now, and start working in the community, volunteering in the community initially.
Mhm.
There's a lot going on out here. Started out as and I'm still an outreach worker for AICDC, but I worked my way up to that position from being a security guard, a few other things, and found myself just getting in different things going on within the community. For me, it started out as what can I do? How can I be of service to the community?
Mhm.
Right. And I found myself doing different things. One of them was like the protector thing, AIM Patrol, Little Earth Protectors, that type of stuff. And then I found myself in activist circles, standing up for our people, standing up for our rights, those type of things. And I met my wife, during the really just before we did the walk to justice for Leonard Peltier.
Yeah.
And from there we wanted to do something, and that's when we came up with Indigenous Protector Movement. How do we do? I think initially we just wanted to be able to activate, like in real time instead of waiting
Mhm.
for something to happen and putting out hey, we need money to go here or do this, that type of thing. So initially I believe that's how we started. That's what was on our in our mind at that time. But as time went on, and you take on these different fights, and you stand up for the people, you start seeing like different things, different needs within the community.
Mhm.
And so just going with the flow, going out, for me being a grassroots community guy, I just go off what I see in the community.
Mhm.
What do we see? What 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 could use our help with, I guess, and I pull a lot from my own lived experience, my lived experience from being an ex-gang member, my lived experience from being a drug dealer, my lived experience from being in active addiction, um, and so that's how we got IPM off the ground. And
Mhm.
then
Can you
from there,
say, do you guys have like a mission or what the goal of your organization is, and then how Many Shields fits into that?
um, so actually that's a Rachel Dion Thunder question. My wife oversees, her and Crow, they oversee a lot of the IPM stuff,
Uh-huh.
that's, I'm on the board. I'm there as much as I can, but my roles that I have, I'm the lead outreach manager for AICDC. That's what I do 40 hours a week. So that takes a lot of my time. And so how Many Shield, and I can tell you how Many Shields started, right?
Yeah.
It's
I just
I
want
was a
people to know that it's a part of Indigenous Protectors Movement, right? Yeah.
Now it is. But how it really started, it was through NAC. NAC had a
Oh.
grant to start a men's group, and I was approached by Sarah Anderson to help facilitate this men's group. It was a partnership between Red Lake, NAC, and Little Earth. And so we started this. It wasn't called Many Shield Society. We call it the Men's Warrior Society. And it started out as a like a talking circle,
Uh-huh.
and it just developed. It like grew legs, and it just for me it was all about building our men back in the community. A safe space for us to talk about our traumas, talk about things going on in life, and getting that support. And from there, that's initially how it started, and then it just kept growing and growing. We kept getting more brothers in the community joining our group, and so it grew into a big mixture. We have men coming home from incarceration, jail, prison. We have brothers coming from active addiction, finding recovery. We have
Mm-hmm.
brothers coming from homelessness as part of our group too. And
Mm-hmm.
also we have brothers too that work in the community that, well-to-do guys that if you meet them, you just think they've been a solid, nothing wrong their entire life. And then you'll hear them share their story about how they've been sober for 25 years, 30
Mm-hmm.
years, things like that. And to me, when I meet people like that, it inspires me more, because there's
Yeah.
people you see doing really good work out here, and they got really good hearts, and they live with integrity, and you find out that they were doing the same thing you were doing, just a little further back.
Yeah.
And that's for me, that's what I love to do. I love to inspire the next person that's turning their life around, the next person that found recovery, empower them, encourage them, but like share the knowledge of what it takes to come up with a little game plan, hitting small little goals at a time. And before you know it, you're hitting all these little small doable goals. But
Mm-hmm.
before you know it, you're like sitting up here and you're like, holy smokes, how did I get here? And yeah, just
So is it would you say like there's a focus on healing or growth? Um what are the types of things that you guys do together? Like,
yes. So again, our group started off this circle, right? And like
mm-hmm.
that's what this circle is really like. What keeps us strong is us being dedicated to growing, doing new things, looking at things differently. So yeah, it's having that dedication to, and I always go back to the word healing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe every last one of us, if you're Native American, you have that generational trauma within your DNA,
Yeah.
and um, some of us haven't healed from it. Some of us are starting to heal from that. And I think some of us don't even realize that we have it, because you've been like creating a successful life and doing all these things, like, doing it the right way, but you never really healed from some of them things. So I see it as like, as we're on different stages of healing. And so many,
Mm-hmm.
many Shield Society, initially, it's like us coming back from that, getting those stages of healing, learning about accountability, you know, get into integrity, like really, really meaning what you say, um, not just what you say, but like how you live, when no one else is looking. So it starts with like really your mind, your thoughts, what are you going to feed them? You're going to feed them positive thoughts or negative thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for like even us believing in ourselves. There's so many of our men, and probably a lot of all our people, but I'll just speak for the men, because we run the groups that don't believe in themselves. That trauma got the best of us, where we don't see how amazing we really are. We don't see how strong we really are. We don't see our value. We grow up feeling inferior at times. So that group is set for us to overcome those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things? So I know that you guys usually you meet once a week for a group meeting. What are some of the things you guys have done there?
At the meetings.
Yeah. Like, haven't
Oh,
you like brought in different trainers and trained the guys on different?
So yeah, our group's been running for over 2 years now.
Wow.
So, and back to it, NAC sponsored it initially,
Mm-hmm.
so the first year that we were running, we had like all those food, money for trainings, things like that. So yeah, we've done Narcan training, CPR
Mm-hmm.
training, situational awareness training. We've done it multiple times. Name the training. We probably brought it in and we've done it
Mm-hmm.
like multiple times.
De-escalation, mediation.
De-escalation,
Wow.
mediation. I also
We
run my own. I also run my own trainings on how I view de-escalation out here as a
Mm-hmm.
community person who grew up in the streets. Understanding that logic to it as well too.
Yeah.
I also I see more of like a pre-de-escalation. Say hello to everybody. Set that
Oh.
tone. Set that positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
That goes a long ways too.
Mm-hmm. It sounds a lot like building relationships with people. When
Yeah.
you're in a relationship with people in community, it's either less often to need de-escalation or mediation, or you're better prepared to enter into a de-escalation mediation type situation.
100%. That's one thing,
Yeah.
coming home, that's what I seen differently. There wasn't a lot of natives where I was at. So when I finally got back out here, so I see another native person, I got mad love, respect, say hello, shake their hand, mean it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a community building on a grassroots level right there. And that's what we're doing a lot more of that. That's what really, I'm really big on that because it makes you feel good when someone says
Mm-hmm.
hello to you while you're walking down the street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you feel seen. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. Well, thanks. I think we're going to move into a break and we'll talk more when we get back.
Perfect. Hey, we'll be right back. You're listening to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio or Native Roots Radio. Not sure yet after 10 years. We'll be right back.
If you're in need of food resources, Hennepin County is here to help. Food shelves near you are ready with fresh, nutritious food. SNAP remains open. You can continue applying for benefits. If you are expecting or have children ages 0 to 5, WIC can provide even more support. Get connected to free or low-cost food resources near you at hennepin.us/food-help. Again, that address is hennepin.us/food-help. A reminder to anyone who rides Metro buses. That means the A, B, C, D, gold, orange, or red lines. Remember to pay your fare before you get on. Either buy a ticket at your station's ticket machine, tap your go-to card, or pass to the reader at the station, or activate a ticket on the Metro Transit app. Have your proof of payment ready to show to trip agents if asked, or risk getting a citation. Thanks for riding with Metro Transit. Again, that's Metro Transit.
MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans. Plus, get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org. The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, hicha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, this episode is supported by the city of Minneapolis with Minneapolis Air, American Indian Relations, and here is our great guest host, Christine McDonald. Oh,
Thank you. Welcome back. I'm Christine McDonald, American Indian Community Specialist with the City of Minneapolis. And joining us back from break, here is Vinny Dion, who is with Indigenous Protectors Movement and with Many Shields working in community. One of the things I wanted to get into is we were just chatting about the different trainings that you've done with the guys that you're working with in Many Shields. And for me, I felt like it was important for community to hear the types of training that these guys are getting, that you're working with them on. Because for the past year, you guys have been doing some pretty needed and welcome to work in community. I know that you guys have been going out and providing basically like outreach services, engaging with our relatives that are for some reason or another either living in the street, on the street, or hanging out in the streets. But the issue that's come up is that for our community agencies that provide services, sometimes people congregate around those areas and those organizations. And I just would like to hear a little bit about what you guys have been doing in the past year to help our agencies and our community where they meet in that space, where it's been problemsome for some folks. But I think you guys have been a welcome addition to the community out there in the mornings and the evenings.
Yeah, thank you, Christine. So I pull from my outreach background because I'm also, I'm an outreach manager at AICDC. And our other leader that we have within Many Shield Society is Asher Birdhorse. And um, he was also an outreach worker. He's now our lead case manager for AICDC. So we have this outreach mindset, and that's our approach to how we do like the patrol, the security stuff, and also adapting to the times of what's going on now. It is, we live in a time where it's about how you treat people. You have to treat people with respect. You know, you can't just. This isn't the 1990s where you can run up and throw people around for being loud or telling people to keep, watch your tone of voice or something. It's all about the respect, having a positive interaction with people. So yeah, we've been going for this is our last month of up with our contract that we have, but it's been a year, for me personally, working 12-hour days,
Yeah.
but the impact that we've had, creating jobs for some of our guys that who otherwise wouldn't have jobs, I'm really proud of that. Some of our guys, it's almost like a job training, learning, teaching guys to be there every day on time, signing in, how you approach people. Those trainings are really important, right?
Yeah.
Because it could also get dangerous out there as well too. Sometimes people, it's hard when someone's escalated right here and we have to go interact with that. So it can get tough
And
at
then that
times.
mediation and de-escalation training comes in handy.
It does.
So I think that's one of the things I wanted to emphasize is that the guys that you're working with and putting out on patrol and community, they're not just like, hey, just get out there and go do whatever you need to do. But they've been trained and you're helping them build skill sets, helping them communicate with people. I think the other thing I was really impressed with was it's not just a, hey, you guys got to move it. It's more of like, do you have somewhere to say? Do you have needs? What can we help you? It's really a humane approach. And I think
Yeah.
it's beneficial. It benefits the community overall. The folks that we see who are living outside or don't have somewhere to go, and then the organizations who just, there's been some things that have been pretty intimidating for those folks that have been asked, that are asking people to, can you open up the space? We've got kids coming in today, or we've got our clients that need to get in through these doors. I think that's interesting too, is that we've seen over the past couple of years, like just people be a little bit more aggressive than we're used to.
hmm
Yeah.
And again, that's why the de-escalation I spoke of earlier, like the community building, saying hello to people, right?
Yeah.
So say hello to everybody, because when you make that connection with someone, right, you might have an interaction with someone, but if you already if they already see you in a positive light and you already recognize each other at least by face and you see each other again, they're more than likely to have a positive outcome with
Mm-hmm.
you. You know, another thing too, like our workers, our members, you know, they were out on the streets as well a few
Yeah.
years back. And so that works also. It helps a lot um, when you know the people out there. Some of our guys,
Mm-hmm.
they're sober now. They're getting high with some of the people that coming across. So like those interactions, it makes it so much
Mm-hmm.
easier for us. And
Mm-hmm.
myself included. I've been sober still some of my old friends that I used to run around out there, and there's a few of them that are still out there, but I have that interaction with them.
Yeah.
I built up that rapport, you know, we go back so far. It just makes things a lot easier when you know the people, you know, that's
That
why it's
lived
important.
experience too has got to be something, because I've got to believe that like somebody who has that lived experience is going to be more compassionate and understanding, and real understanding what they're dealing with and how to deal with people and interact with folks who have needs, who, you know, maybe not today, they're not going to look for a roll 25, but tomorrow when you see them again, they might be
Hmm.
ready. And you guys
Hmm.
have that's the other part, is you guys have those connections too,
Yeah.
which is beyond just like a community patrol, you know.
Yep. So our patrol members, we have gotten people housed. We have gotten people from
Yeah.
off the street into shelter. We have gotten people into treatment. You know, so that's also that mindset that we have as well too. That we put out there. Like, how do we help our people? We're not here
Hmm.
to come out here and run you out or redirect you every time. We want to have a
Yeah.
positive interaction with you, right?
Yeah.
Like again, back to the community building piece.
Yes.
We're all native people living here, you know,
Hmm.
and sorry,
Yeah.
my wife's
Oh.
thing just popped up on the screen.
Yeah,
Um,
I just want to reiterate again, like the fact that it's not just patrol. It's not just, hey, you guys got to move it. It's the humane, it's the outreach aspect. It's the, like you said, say it again. You've gotten people housed, you've got people into treatment. Is there like any other things that you guys have run into that you've been able to help out with?
um, what really what really grabs my heart is, you know, some of our guys that we've had are actually clients of mine from me doing outreach. You know, like for me, I wanted to do more than get someone from point A to point B. How do I empower them to see
Mhm.
to reach their full potential? And sometimes that takes giving them the resources, right? I'm really
Mhm.
big on resources. There's so many resources out here that we're not taking advantage of. It. Sometimes we just don't know them, or sometimes it might be our own traumas why we don't take advantage of them, right? But
Mhm.
sharing those resources. And my brother
Mhm.
Muckway here, he wanted to, you know, the lived experience piece is major. We have
Yeah.
like there's so much knowledge that our people have, and a lot of our brothers are come from that lived experience. You know, they know what it's like to be in active addiction. Some of our guys know what it's like to be outside
Mhm.
living in a tent or under a bridge, you
Mhm.
know, what
Mhm.
it feels like to give up on life, but they found their purpose again, you know.
Mhm.
And to me that's just beautiful. It's amazing. It's what warms my heart. It's what pushes me to keep doing what I'm doing each and every day.
Mhm. I think it's been amazing. I'm really sad to hear that the contract is ending. I don't know as a community what we're gonna do, how we're gonna pull it together, and I know the feedback has been fantastic from all over the place. The organizations that have been helped by your guys on Many Shields. I know people in my realm in the city of Minneapolis have been watching and have been really appreciative of the work that you guys are doing. Um, so thank you for joining me tonight.
I'm glad to be here.
Wow, what a great show, Christine. You got it going on here. Great guest and a lot of great knowledge out there. Thank you so much. And again, big shout out. This episode is supported by the city of Minneapolis, Minneapolis Air, American Indian Relations. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Ho!
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air.